Hello and welcome to Maximum Stone Age, the first talking book about the band. It was written and researched by Michael Sumption, music is by Amanda Thompson, and it's read by Sian Jones. You can check out our full catalogue on our website at www.chromedreams.co.uk, where you can also join our Maximum Collectors Club to receive special offers and free CDs. Alternatively, join the Maximum Collectors Club by filling in the registration form attached to the booklet inside this CD and post it back to us.
Nicotine, Valium, Vicodin, marijuana, ecstasy, and alcohol. Chorus, cocaine.
5 years has always been a lifetime in the world of rock and roll, but recently it feels even longer. Bands come and go, it was always this way, but with such a ferocious turnover of artists and artisans, it is increasingly easy to lose track of those outfits that are persistent, determined, and consistent enough to stay the pace. It's even easier for established bands with reputations and histories to fall prey to self-indulgence, laziness, and the sheer boredom of being successful. Rock and roll can become a 9-to-5 job, the very thing from which music is supposed to offer an escape. It's no secret that when alternative rock bared its grungy teeth in the early 1990s, it took the biggest bite out of the lucrative cherry pie that metalheads had been eagerly snacking on for the best part of a decade. Hard rock got hard again. Beavis and Butthead mocked the pomposities of metal, and James Hetfield finally got his haircut. Yet what separated the new school of mainstream metal from the old guard, whether it came in the form of Soundgarden's screaming Zeppelinisms, the potent dirges of Alice in Chains, or the sun-baked brick-thick riffage of Kyuss, went deeper than just hair care products. The difference boiled down to an emphasis on substance over style. Current darlings of the music press, queens of the Stone Age, are testament to both these developments in modern rock, eschewing the Stone Age mentality and musical stasis of their chosen genre, as well as reaping the benefits of educations received in other outfits. They bring something fresh, vital and new to a music scene that sometimes appears to be on the brink of extinction. Right now, queens of the Stone Age stand on top of the world, the envy of their peers. You can hardly move for screaming headlines and gushing praise about these desert dwellers who've come to save rock from the bland, inoffensive musical wallpaper it has become of late. Not since Kurt Cobain's Nirvana has there been a guitar band for the body and soul, stimulating and feeding into both equally, while providing a whole new culture to buy into. In Nirvana's case, you had the punk ethic, the nihilism and the very cheap slacker clothing. With Queens of the Stone Age, you've got exactly the same, but with more alcohol, more sex, and less tortured angst. Queens of the Stone Age have stripped guitar music back to its raw fundamentals. Like the Stooges and MC5 before them, they grind away using an insistent, expertly chosen riff and treat music with the seriousness it deserves. There are no pretensions, no ham-fisted experiments with orchestras, no ill-judged dalliances with the avant-garde, and no bandwagon jumping dance remixes to make a quick buck. As Josh Homme's granddad once told him, if you're going to make classic rock, make classic rock. Emerging as a serious international force on the back of their second opus, Rated R, the Queens have created a sound that both updates the stoner rocks of Kyuss and gives classic rock and roll the invigorating makeover it so badly needed. It's common for bands to talk about returning to the roots of songwriting. Usually it points towards an obsession with craft and meaning that denigrates into tedious songsmithery. In the case of the Queens, though, you immediately see their point. Devastatingly arranged, lucidly composed pop epistles you'll hear in 2 decades from now, each one delirious with enough luscious detail to engulf the listener for weeks. The band have already achieved immortality by releasing the heaviest, most honest, compelling and intelligent American rock album in a decade with Rated R. It's the kind of benchmark that sets a new standard and forces contemporaries to slip up a gear just to keep in the race. With the sense of dynamics and brute force of Nirvana at their peak, Queens of the Stone Age could very well go on to finish off what Kurt Cobain started and achieve long-term planet domination. Walking it like they talk it and then some, the Queen's musical epiphanies are like manna from heaven, trashing so-called punky acts like Slipknot, Amen and At the Drive-In into oblivion. Music fans have been hungry for something to happen for a few barren years, and the Queens have timed their rise to perfection, shying away from the same old cliched corn riffs of much of the recent adult rock music. They offer undiluted, power-packed assaults on the senses, with a combination of noise, melody, attitude, and unshakable self-belief. They come to entertain, provoke, disturb, move, and shake up jaded listeners around the globe. They are the world's best rock and roll outfit, on a mission to rescue us from limp boy band pop, bloated corporate suckers, and insincere rockers who say one thing and do another. The 21st century surely belongs to the Queens of the Stone Age.
We go to bed and eat breakfast stuff too, you know. I mean, I don't like stick my toothbrush down a beer bottle and go, yeah.
The protagonists of our story, Josh Homme and Nick Oliveri, were childhood friends in the Californian town of Palm Desert, and they've now accumulated nearly 30 years of musical history between them. As youngsters growing up in Palm Desert, life for Homme and Oliveri was pretty bog standard. A lack of access to excitement and outside stimuli ensured that it was easier to obtain good drugs than good music. As the only sensible reaction to a commercial radio diet of inane pop, Josh Homme began escaping from the family home to go to concerts by influential underground hardcore bands such as Black Flag. Through attending these events, Homme found his own identity, one that he could carve out for himself and which was divorced from school and home life. He was becoming his own man, ignoring rules and the disapproval of both his peers and elders. Punk rock and hardcore provided a sense of belonging, a feeling that this was all that mattered, the here and now, the euphoria and rush of adrenaline from the music. Like many rock idols before him, Homme found in music a viable escape route from the drudgery of Palookaville. Nick Oliveri also thrived on the power of rock music and the defiant outsider syndrome. His research was an unstoppable quest, illuminated by a fascination with those rock and roll rebels who lived by their own rules and nurtured a mistrust of the tactics of indoctrination. Indeed, as his legendary nude performances would go on to prove, Oliveri was a rock and roller in the purest sense of the phrase. By the age of just 11, Oliveri had been to his first concert, a US festival in 1983 in San Bernardino, which featured an uncompromising bill of heavy metal giants: Judas Priest, Ozzy Osbourne, Van Halen and the Scorpions. The music he loved was that which just stretched outside the boundaries of normality. Both endearingly naive, but fueled by passion, Oliveri and Homme were a match made in heaven. It was inevitable that Josh Homme ended up playing guitar alongside bassist Oliveri in Kyuss, a local band that came to define the subcultural term stoner rock, since appropriated by the likes of Monster Magnet, Sleep and Fu Manchu. It all started back in 1987 in Palm Desert, Palm Springs, when Kyuss were formed. Something of a musical prodigy, Homme was just 14 when he formed Kyuss in high school, and within a couple of years he was the main songwriter and guitarist. Homme spent every weekend playing with the band at generator parties, either in a backyard or just out in the desert, thanks to a distinct lack of conventional concert venues. These parties cemented the band's local cult status and attracted innumerable disaffected kids searching for some excitement. However, they also gained their fair share of interest from the highway patrol. One party was busted by the police after they discovered that the bathroom was being used as a crystal meth laboratory. Pretty soon, Kyuss had gone from playing at local parties and friends' houses to cutting albums and touring. They reached heights of success that far exceeded their expectations and were worshipped as heavy metal heroes by their rabidly loyal fans. They left the desert for months at a time and played sold-out tours of the US and Europe, while heavyweights like Metallica, Soundgarden, Ween, White Zombie and Faith No More voiced their approval by inviting them to support.